Hey friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Elizabeth and I share deck flip-throughs, spreads, VRs, and so much more. Believe it or not, we are at the end of June and it's time to wrap up this month. So let's get into it. I thought we could start with new things coming into the collection, and something that I really like to do is support other creators. This month, I made a purchase from Miss Danny Mystic, and I went on to her site and I picked up this smudge spray. And it smells amazing. It's sweetgrass and sage, and it's just delicious. So I placed an order for this, but then I also wanted to pick up a couple of her journals. I ended up picking up this one. So you can see it has the artwork from the star card, and it's just a blank journal that I could pretty much do whatever I want with. And then I picked up this beauty. Okay, zooming us out just a little bit so that we can appreciate the journals, because this one is so awesome. And I struggle with these because I love them. And then I get them and I think they're so beautiful. And then I don't want to do anything to them because so much time and effort and care went into these, and I don't know, they're so much fun. So yeah, I picked these up, and I know eventually I'll use them, but I don't know, they're so beautiful. I just want to hold on to them just a little bit longer so that I can appreciate them. But yeah, I picked up these two journals and my smudge spray. I also received a beautiful gift from Miss Tarot D, and I wanted to quickly share. She sent me her black salt, and then she sent me a couple of sprays. So we have the Florida water and then a smudge spray. And I'm just incredibly grateful for these, completely unexpected. I'm so happy to have these and to be able to use them as well. And I also received this little duo. This was from a giveaway on Miss Kulala's channel, and I happened to be the lucky recipient. I won the 111 Oracle Spreads book, as well as the Faded uh, Pocket Love Oracle. And this deck is so cute. It's literally the smallest deck that I have in my collection. And it's 13 cards. And I just think they're adorable. I used them this month in reels. And so far people have been digging the artwork, which is cool. It's very different than anything else that I have in the collection, and it's been a lot of fun playing around with this little deck. Perfect to keep in your bag, and you never know when you need that message. And then the oracle spreads, I'm really looking forward to getting into this book because there are a lot of cool spreads in here. Look, I just opened it to that self-love and mindful moment spread. I mean, how cool is that? And I know that it says oracle spreads, but literally you can do any kind of combination, any style of divination that you like. So you can do tarot, you can do oracle, you can do both, you can do charms. Like, I feel like it's so cool. And there's such a mix of topics. You could see it's divided by chapter. So over here we have 1 card spreads, 2 card and 3 card spreads, and then self-reflection and awareness, which immediately I already know that that's going to be my favorite section. Matters of the heart, career, money, changes and transitions, spreads for home and family life, spirituality and divine guidance, and then even spreads for astrology and planets. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to having this. I do have some spread books, but they're like PDF, and I have a lot of electronic spreads, but I always feel like when they're a PDF, it's like out of sight, out of mind. I much rather have a physical book, so I'm happy to have this one. So thank you, Carla, for this beautiful gift. I also did a huge deck haul this month, and it was specifically focused on Oracle cards. And so, again, I'm not really going to go into them too much, but I just want to highlight the ones that I ended up purchasing. So it was the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck, which is popular. A lot of people know and love that deck. I also picked up Queen of the Moon Oracle. I'll link the video too in case you want to take a look at that. The Weird Sisters, Cosmic Crossroads, and Feminine Wisdom. And then I decided I was also going to pick up this one. Wisdom of the Sacred Oracle. And this is just beautiful. Again, I'll link the video in case you want to take a look. But they're just gorgeous, gorgeous decks. Now, so far, this is pretty much brand new. I haven't really done a lot of work with it. Same with Feminine Wisdom and Cosmic Crossroads. But I don't like to jump into, so many decks at once. I like to take my time. So I would say these are the ones that I've done the most work with so far, and I'm loving them. Yeah, so those are my new decks. I put in a crystal order as well. I'm just going to kind of highlight my favorite pieces. And the first one is going to be this one. This is blue lace agate. And I didn't have any blue lace, so I was really happy to have this one. And it's just gorgeous, this teardrop shape, perfect for a pendant. I don't know how to wrap crystals, but maybe I'll find somebody that can help me with that. But it's absolutely gorgeous. And then this is another favorite. So this is obsidian. It's a rainbow obsidian, but it's really hard to see the rainbow. Even here, looking at it, I have a difficult time. And someone suggested maybe if I shine a light like this, I can see it perfectly. And I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but it is so good. It's so pretty. Look at that. So yes, I forgot who told me shine a light on it. I can't remember, but thank you for the idea because that was the perfect way to show off the color in this palm stone. So yeah, those were a couple of my favorites. If you have been watching my shorts, then you will have also noticed the selenite plate and the malachite sphere, which I featured in those videos as well. Let's talk about books. I had the absolute joy of beta reading Feral Monologues by Lennon Smith, and I'm so excited to share a few thoughts. This is her newest release, and I'll go ahead and link it in the description box below. The book landed in my hands right before my trip, so I didn't get to dive in right away. But now that I've been sitting with it daily, I'm really letting it soak in. Some of my favorite sections so far, I adored Imagination, but Not a Phase is hitting me in such a personal way too. Lennon has a gift for putting words to things I have felt, but I haven't always known how to express. One piece that really stood out to me was lava and Legos. I mean, who hasn't stepped on one of those sneaky pieces before? There's something here for everyone, I believe. Poetry that's both accessible and nuanced, full of soul and honesty. I'm genuinely enjoying this journey, and maybe you'll feel called to support Lennon's creative path too. Other books I am still working on To Shape a Dragon's Breath. I cannot begin to tell you how much I love this book. I was able to do so much reading in this book this past month, and I'm sad because like I'm almost done. I don't have very much left to go. Uh, so I tend to slow down just a little bit. This is the first in a series of three, and I haven't checked yet to see if the other ones are already available for purchase. But that's something that scares me, right? That you finish the book and then the second one isn't ready to go. So I'm kind of dreading that. But the book has been so, so good. I have enjoyed this so very much. Such a lovely read. So let me set this aside. The other book that I got into this month was Girl Mess. Now, this was a little bit more difficult for me. Now remember, I would say I'm not really much of a poems person, but there are some that I feel really um, resonate or that I find that I connect with. This one has been a little bit more challenging. And so I didn't get as far with this one. So here I am at An Oracle Intervenes. And it's just the poetry is really deep here. An old woman beckons me, fantastically amused. She's sunken into an armchair, forfeiting her body to its dark green crease. No one has stopped here with a simple please. She is a prophet like no other, asks for no sacrifice, nor prayers uttered. I can kind of see where this is going and I'm immediately intrigued. So I don't know, maybe it was too hot to read without air conditioning because I felt like I really struggled with this um, in the heat. I really struggled with this in the heat. So uh, I definitely am going to give this one another go. And that was Girl Mess. Of course, I am working in the year of the hermit. Now, if you saw my recap last month, you'll know that I really struggled with May. There was a lot of shadow work that came up for me. And I don't know, just a lot of heavy themes and topics. But I really been enjoying June. And let me see. Here we are. Okay, so the theme for June is the flame, right? So this is going to speak to the things that fuel our curiosity, our passion. So it talks about the flame being a source of light, a power that is within us. It talks about sometimes having to kind of spark or fan or fuel the flame, controlling the flame, and just all kinds of really cool things. Now, I don't really do very much with this whole intro part. I really just do the dailies, and I did take this one with me on vacation to Puerto Rico and worked on that while I was gone. So yes, enjoying getting to learn more about our inner fire. Transitioning to journals. So I've been doing a lot more journaling from my spreads and I don't know, just basic. I did a ton of journaling this month. This was something I saw in a meditation and I've just been working on it slowly. It's not complete yet, but it's a process. But yeah, working on different things, working with firefly energy, I did some painting while I was gone, and that was a lot of fun too. Kind of exploring with different things, readings that I did while I was away. I don't know, it was just really good. I've been working with a ton of different decks, so it's been pretty cool. So I worked in this journal. But then the beautiful Carrie gave me the idea to take one of my journals with me on vacation, which actually I took all of the journals on vacation, but I thought it was nice to separate them out because at the end of the day, I write my journals knowing that I'm leaving a little bit of myself for my kids, right? For that day when I'm no longer here. And I thought it was a really cool idea the way that she put her journal together in preparation for her trip. And so I thought I would give it a go, and it was very successful. In fact, my daughter has already went through and read the whole entire thing cover to cover. So I only got through half of the journal, thinking on our next trip we can, complete it. So here, this is the sigil that I used from this deck here, from my weird sisters. I used the sigil for safe travels. I put it into my book, and then I created a screensaver for my phone. And I also did a crystal grid. And I used this sigil here, sigil for protection, when I created the grid. And if I find a photo, I'll include it so that you can kind of see. But in that grid, I included black tourmaline, smoky quartz, amethyst, lab, selenite, and hematite. And then what I do is I assign uh, for all intents and purposes, a job, a job to each of the crystals. And I, asked my black tourmaline to shield. This is a sigil for protection. And I created this and left this at home to protect my home and all the sentient beings coming in and out of the home. So, I had my kitties here, both of my kitties. We have a housemate who was here on the property. And then we had a pet sitter that was coming every day to take care of Miracle and Kimchi. So, in order to call in um, some protection for all of them, I created this grid. So, I asked the black tourmaline to shield against negativity. And then I used amethyst for protection and intuition. I used labradorite as an energetic guardian. And then I had selenite on there to help keep the grid clear of any stagnant energies. I also had a piece of hematite on the grid, and that's to strengthen boundaries and reinforce protective intent. So let me see, that was black tourmaline, uh, amethyst, labradorite, selenite, hematite, and then the last one is smoky quartz. So I use smoky quartz on the grid for grounding and for neutralizing any unwanted energy. And I have to say, the whole entire time that I was gone on my trip, I was 100% confident that is the way that everything was. Everything was safe, everything was protected, and I was 100% confident in the power of the intention that I left behind on that grid. Now, remove this. So I have kind of like a timeline um, for our travel day, because a lot of really cool things happened, and everything kind of happened as though it was meant to happen. Like everything just seemed so seamless, and just overall perfect. And I made a little note here. This is the first time that my daughter goes through TSA as an adult. So that was pretty cool. And then I have photos, family photos that I stuck in here, and I just took notes every day about what we did, what we ate, what things we got into. This is a waterfall that we visited. We stopped to get some, we stopped for the waterfall, and we ended up finding coconuts there. And then on the way back, we picked up mangoes. So I tried to capture all of that in the book. Some beautiful sunsets that we were able to take photos of. The family is very close to the beach, so we were able to get to the beach quite a bit. I was really happy to be able to spend Father's Day with my dad. And I don't know, it's just a really special day. Um, this is at the top of a cliff that overlooks the water. We got there right at sunset, and it was just amazing from up there. If I can, I'll include some footage. I don't know if you just heard that. That's a lightning storm. I was like, why is it getting so dark in here? But yeah, this was such a great idea. My son even went fishing one day with grandpa. They had a lot of fun. I did some painting while I was there. So I had that in my book. And yeah, I just, I really liked doing this. I love journaling altogether, but sometimes have a tendency to put all of my thoughts into one book. And there's times where I don't want everybody all up in my one book because I have all of my things in there. So yeah, it was cool to set this up. And at first I was like, oh, this looks awful. Look, we went to a beach. I was so stunned. I saw the area kind of cordoned off, and when we got close, it was a conservation area for sea turtles. And I just loved that so, so much. I love to see the island of Puerto Rico embracing the environment and really doing their part. So this was just really, really special for me. But yeah, that was the contents of the book. And then in the back, we have some pebbles that Grandpa and my son picked up, as well as messages from Spirit that came to me a couple of times. This one was the most powerful message, so it was really awesome. It was a bad storm, so I had to stop filming for a moment just to kind of get everything together. But you can see it was really, really heavy, lots of thunder and lightning, and I had to adjust my lighting. So sorry about that. I turned on some lighting, and I'm just gonna start with decks. This month, I did a lot of work with decks, mostly Oracle decks. And the reason for that is because a lot of my tarot decks are in a complete disarray right now. With the archetype series, there are decks that have cards pulled. Almost all of my decks have cards pulled out of them. So I have been working with a lot more of my oracles instead. So this is Vessel. This is one of the decks that I have been working with. In fact, I featured this in my deck sacrifice video, and then I ended up getting the Weird Sisters, which is an amazing complement to this deck. And I'm really, really happy about that because I always thought this deck was just weird and quirky and it just needed the right energy to go with it. It's a smaller deck. I want to say there's only like 35 cards, if I remember correctly, in the deck. So I'm happy to have something to use it with. In my opinion, it makes it a lot more usable for me and the way that I use my decks. So that is the Vessel. The next deck that I've been working with is my Reclaim. This is my uh, emotional support deck. I love this deck, as do many, many people out in the community. So I won't take a lot of time with this. I guess what I would say is that the style in which I use this deck is probably a little bit different. I don't shuffle and pull a card. Usually, what I do is when I'm feeling a certain kind of way, and that usually means not even I know what that is. I'm just feeling heavy and I can't put my finger on it, or there's too many emotions involved and it's difficult for me to separate things. I will go to this deck. And the artwork speaks to me, and I'm able to kind of find what it is that I'm dealing with. And then I go from there. It's usually journaling, um, connecting the stories between the cards and the emotions that I'm feeling and what was captured in the guidebook. Although I have to say, with this deck, I rarely use the guidebook. It's there. I'm glad that it's there. And if I needed to fall back to it, I could. But this is just one of those decks that no, I just look at the cards and it tells me what I need. It validates a lot of the things that are happening to me, and it helps me put a name to the emotion that I'm feeling. Which is really helpful for people like me who grew up with a limited vocabulary in terms of emotion, right? Like emotional intelligence. Uh, I grew up and I was familiar with happy and sad and angry and funny. But there's so many other emotions, and it's just really, really hard sometimes. A lot of this work I had to do on my own. And it's okay. I'm okay with that. Because I've been able to learn a lot thanks to decks like this one. So this one's really, really special to me for that reason. So yeah, that's my Reclaim Oracle. I did a lot of work with the I'm Here. Again, this is another one that I find incredibly supportive. And I use this as a weekly card pull at my work desk because I am missing my Sasarai Beetle, which is my work deck. And so I was really needing something to lean on for support, and this was the one. And so I would pull a card at the start of the week, and I just set it, on a little card stand right in front of my monitors. And every now and again, when you have that moment where you're feeling that way and everything is just all jumbled up inside, I would just stop for a moment, take a deep breath, look at the card, look at the sentiment, and incorporate that. Incorporate that into the moment and find a way through it, which there's always a way through it. It's just kind of being able um, to navigate it, right? To navigate it on your own. So yeah, I found that this deck was incredibly helpful for that reason. So that is the I'm Here deck. This one is my Oracle of the Mermaids, and I used this for my YouTube shorts. This was well received, and this is a deck that I don't get to use very often. This is a great deck. You know what this is a great deck for? For self-reflection. Here's the card backs. Great deck for self-reflection. You could pull a card. I love this deck because it gives you a keyword and then it tells you something underneath. So for example, here we have receptivity. Allow yourself to receive. Allow yourself to give, right? And then from there, the guidebook does this incredible job of helping you maneuver through and work through it. It's perfect for pulling a card and for journaling. And I hadn't really used it for anything other than that. And so this past month, I paired it with my Mermaid Tarot, and I used it for my YouTube shorts, and people were loving it. Of course, because what's not to love? We can always use mermaid energy in our lives. And, I'm in Florida, so it's basically swimming season almost the whole year here. So, uh, you know, mermaid energy is appropriate almost year round. I usually go my very first time to the beach in April. And then I can go swimming all the way through September. I've even gone in October, but usually I, can go to the beach from April all the way through to September, and and have a wonderful time. So that's why decks like this are really, really cool, because I get to use them for a little bit longer. Yeah, so that is my Oracle of the Mermaid. Another deck that came out this month was the Quiet Rebel Oracle. I feel like this deck is just, it's so good. And it's just perfect for specific moments and situations. And I was able to pull this for a friend who needed some help and some support, and the message just hits home. It's a beautiful collage style deck, and it's quirky, it's sassy, it's fun, and I've really been enjoying these collage style decks. This one is amazing. And I like this so much that I decided to back the tarot deck as well. So I haven't checked the progress on that one, but Lynn does such an amazing job with her campaigns that I don't worry one bit about it. It'll be fun to have it in the collection, and I know that it's gonna get used because it's timely and relevant and direct, and it's spot on, really. So yeah, that's my Quiet Rebel Oracle. The last deck that I have been using is this one here, Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. Now, it's not even in the box because this has been living on my bed. This is my nighttime pull. I have been pulling from this deck in the evenings, and it's just so perfect for that. I love this deck. I love the art. I've always been a fan of Rasuli. Um, it's really hard. You have to control yourself. But, if I could, I would get like all his decks, right? Because I just love the art so much. But again, I appreciate decks like this because it tells you here, discover your superpower. But then it gives you an additional sentiment, access 100% of your mojo. And I love it. The art is just expansive. And what I do is I shuffle the deck. I just pulled this out a couple of nights ago in the Castle of Dreams. I feel like I pulled this card out at least 3 times this month. Yeah, it's such a good deck. And I shuffle, I pull the card, and then I read the book and focus on the image, and I put it on a little card holder right next to my pillow, and that is what I focus on as I drift off to sleep. So this has been a great oracle deck for that kind of thing. I mean, it's the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle, right? I mean, you could probably do this with any deck, but this is a great deck to do it with. So yeah, I have been doing that at night before bed, and I have enjoyed that quite a bit. So that is my Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. Let's move on to tarot. So this month, I continued my use with the Metamuse Tarot. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I am having a little bit of a love affair with this deck. I love it. It's gorgeous. Look at those card backs. It's gorgeous. I love the art. It speaks to me, and it's been pretty amazing. So much fun. Um, and I have to ask myself sometimes, like, do you really need one more collage deck? Yes, yes, I do. I mean, look at that card. Of course I do. I need it, I said. It's so good. Like these cards are so good. So yeah, I've been enjoying these. I think I used these in my archetype series. because they're really cool for the readings at the end when we're getting into the deeper energy of the archetypes. And it's been so good. So, yeah, that is my Metamuse Tarot. You may have seen in my journal that I pulled out this beauty. Look at those card backs. I love this deck. I just love it. It's the Wandering Spirit Tarot. And I just call it the girl and the skeleton. And that's what it is. It's this beautiful story of the girl and the skeleton. And the more I use this deck, the more I love it. I feel like the skeleton can be looked at in so many different ways. The creator created the skeleton to keep her company during a bout of depression. And so you can definitely see a little bit of that energy in this deck. But when I look at it, to me, I kind of see them as her physical form and her ego. But you could see this in so many different ways. It's just such a great deck. And unfortunately, this was a deck that was subjected to piracy. The artwork was stolen. And so she recently did another Kickstarter and recreated the deck. But I want to say that what she did was she got rid of the colors. So the teals, the purples, and that pink color. And I want to say she made it silver. And I was very tempted. I was very tempted, but I held back. I held back because I love this deck and I take very good care of it. And I feel like this deck is going to be with me for quite some time. I adore it. I use it for ego work. I use it for shadow work. I use it for any kind of work. All reasons are great reasons to pull in the girl and the skeleton. So, yeah, that is my Wandering Spirit Tarot. Now, I kind of mentioned this one earlier. I use this for um, YouTube Shorts. But I also had some powerful readings with this deck, and there he is right there with the Emperor. Yeah, it was so good. Look, these are the last cards that I pulled out. I'm surprised to see them together like this because I usually don't put them back this way. I have a very specific method of putting my cards back. I don't know if you guys do this too, but when I put cards back, I cut them 1,000 times until I get them into the deck, right? So I'm shocked to see the cards like this. So let me just go through my process here and put them back. And then I usually, give them a shuffle. But anyway, this deck, I was on the fence with this deck for quite some time. I've been on the fence with these mermaid decks. I had the Dame Darcy before this, and for me, it was just okay. I was a good reader, but, I didn't really have a strong connection to it. And I started that way with this deck as well. I used it a few years ago for a very short period of time. And then I pulled it out and I was like, okay, I mean, it reads okay. But then I used it for a reading on the inner child, the inner teen, the wounded patriarch. I mean, I was all over the place. And this deck was like incredible for that. So now I'm like, there's no way I can part with this. Oh my goodness. There is no way I can part with this deck. And sometimes with these mass market decks, if they don't work, it's fine. My daughter's girlfriends, they all love and enjoy tarot. And so they like to shop my collection. um, And I thought, this is probably going to be a deck that I'm going to, end up purging. But no, nope. The deck is here to stay. And I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. And I don't know that I'm going to put it away for next month. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's the mermaid. Now, this here is the deck that I took with me on my trip to Puerto Rico. And the main reason for that is because it is one of the few decks that is complete, whose artwork has not been pulled out. So these are the card backs. Okay, it's ironic that I would start with this card. Look at the condition of this card. Can you see that? You see there's like two massive bubbles here. This deck has so much damage. I just can't. I edged it. You can see how warped it is. It had very bad water damage. I'm so bonded to this deck. I don't know. This almost looks like somebody chewed on it. It's because of the water. A lot of the words came off. I went back and I wrote them. I wrote them back in with my Sharpie. And I tried to do what I could to save this deck. You can see that it peeled. You can see that, right? It peeled. It did everything. I ironed these cards. I dried them in the oven. I slept with them. I put books on them to weigh them back down to get them to lay flat again. I mean, it was a disaster. Look at that. It was a disaster. But what ended up happening, this one is warped so bad. Yikes. Yeah. I decided to take this to Puerto Rico on vacation, and she doesn't disappoint. This deck just, I find myself connecting with it quite well, and I understand it. And I don't have the expanded guidebook because I just had the little one that came in a box that's falling apart. But I did download the app, so I do have access to the full book in the app if I need it. If I want to read more about the stories of the characters, which I actually like to do from time to time. But yeah, I took this deck with me. It's so colorful, it's vibrant, it's so detailed. It sings to me. And yeah, we'll stop here. But look at that. It's a disaster. Um, it's a disaster. But I adore her. She's here to stay. She's here to stay. And then this deck right here. This is my purse deck. I made this little pouch for it. I don't crochet a lot anymore. I was tempted to bring yarn with me on my last trip, but I don't do it anymore because my fingers hurt when I do it. Uh, and this is the sun and moon. And for the longest time, I used this deck for moon readings, full moon and new moon. And then I don't know, I stopped and I just took the deck and I tossed it in my bag, and it's always with me. I take it everywhere. Uh, and I interviewed it maybe like a year ago, and she said she wanted to stay, so I kept her. And she's already trimmed at the time. This is like a Thoth base deck. And so I trimmed it and I took off like the keywords. Now I'm like, why did you do that? But I like this deck enough that I would, at some point get the full size version. And if I get the full size, then I won't trim it. I'll just keep it full size. But I love this deck. It's so awesome. And so this month I decided to do a new moon reading. It was new moon in Cancer. I did the reading using the new Queen Oracle, Queen of the Moon Oracle. And I paired it with this, and I loved it. They definitely speak. Art style, completely different, but they speak. I love this deck. It's so zoomed out that it makes it really difficult to see, the characters and the art, which is why I would probably want the bigger version at some point. But it's just such a great deck. And actually, this is another one of those decks. There was a lot of, I don't know, I'll call it criticism. There was a lot of hubbub about Tarn Ellis's deck, right? Earthwoman Tarot, because the faces didn't have a face. It was just a dot. But these are like that. I'm pretty sure these are like that. I think you just see the body, the physical form. And they work for me. I find that they work. So I just kind of read this deck intuitively, and then if I have questions, if something comes up and it's the artwork is, because some of the art is RWS but some of it is not. So if I have any cards like that, I just refer to the little booklet. The little booklet gives you just enough information. And yeah, but I love this deck. It was perfect. And this one stays in my purse. It's my travel tarot. It's always there. It's always present. But yeah, those are the decks that I ended up using. Actually, more than I even imagined, comparing or thinking about. Like, I barely went live this month. Yeah, I think I did a live when I came back, and it was more like a chat. I didn't do any live readings or anything like that. So yeah, I'm sometimes surprised at how many decks I get through. So there you have it, friends. That is my month. I may go ahead and insert some footage. Ooh, Two of Cups. So we had an amazing time as usual. We're very fortunate that we're close to the water. And so if we want to travel every day to the beach to take a walk or to see the sunset, we're able to do that. And I was able to go to all my favorite little places, my favorite views, my favorite lookouts, my favorite shops, of course, my favorite eateries, my favorite food trucks, the kids too. It's not just me. They have their favorite places that they like to go and visit, their favorite ice cream shops. So we got to do so many things. But I think the most important thing on this trip was how much time I had to feed my soul. I don't know, just decompress, really decompress and enjoy the downtime, and was really good. I needed that. I needed that. And yeah, thank you so, so much for watching. If this is your first time, please consider subscribing if the content resonates with you. I'm always happy to have new friends on the channel. And with that, I will bid you adieu. Thanks so much. Bye.